This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ, 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ, 1430 AM, insane broadcasting at its finest, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Hey, before we get going, I want to thank a couple the great guys in Granite City. I was in Granite City yesterday, and a couple police officers helped me. My car broke down. I'm broke down. Now my car's breaking down. Seems like everything I've got's breaking down around me, but I want to thank Officer Maui and Officer Dawes for assisting me. Two great guys. Granite City, great town, Granite City. A lot of great people. Police officers were very, very professional, very, very friendly. And I just want to thank them. And I want to thank the chief and the mayor of Granite City for fielding such a good and professional police department. I know Gino Wilkerson and a lot of the other guys in Granite City, a great department. So, again, Officer Maui and Officer Dawes, thank you guys very much for your assistance. And I think if all policemen acted like you guys, and I think most of them do all throughout this great country, people would really respect and appreciate your service, and most people do. Now, the bums with the badges, there's always a couple bums with the badges. Let's get rid of the bums with the badges, and let's don't taint our proud professional police officers. So again, Officer Maui, Officer Dawes, and everybody in Granite City, thanks for your cooperation and for all your help. It was greatly appreciated. You know, people talk about policemen, this and that, but you guys got to remember, when it gets real serious, when it gets real hot, when the killers come out and we start running away, that's when the first responders start running towards the problem. Now, you know, you get a ticket occasionally by one of them. Don't let that piss you off, because usually you deserve the ticket. Anytime I get a ticket, I deserve it. Now, you can't speed down the street, speed down the interstate, but it's like the cell phones. Everybody, I drive down the street, and, you know, I got to tell you, and again, everybody knows I'm running for office, and you're supposed to be politically correct. Don't ever talk about the things you do wrong. Just brag about the things you do right. Well, you know, you got to take the bad with the good, but I drive down the street. I use my cell phone. It's not right. I don't text. I think texting should be illegal. I think, though, you could put your telephone up to your ear. I think we're that smart. But you know who says we can't? These ass-white bastards in Springfield. Not just the Democrats, the Republicans, too. You know there's enough shame in the game and enough blame in the game to go around for both. I drive down the street. I'm checking on family affairs. I'm checking on business situations. I don't sit there and text. And I think that is wrong. If I'm elected, I'm going to try to reinvent that legislation where you cannot text, because that is dangerous, looking back and forth, up and down. But don't tell me you can't hit one button on a speed dial and put that phone up to your ear. I think we're that intelligent, politicians. I think all the people are that intelligent. Now, I don't smoke, but driving down the street, spoke with a friend of mine last night who got a ticket. some time ago because he had his iPad on. He was listening to a show, and he just had the iPad in his hand, and he was given a ticket. Now he's fighting it and probably going to win it. But I said last night, hell, I could sit there driving down the street. I could have a cigarette in one hand and a soda in the other hand. And I've seen it happen. Good people, good citizens, driving it around. They got the cigarette as they're steering. They got a soda in their other hand or a bottle of water. And, you know, maybe they just want to flip over to another radio station. Then they have to look down and hit a button. Or if they want to change the temperature in their car, they have to look down and hit a button. So what I say to that is, let's not make these politicians, or let's not let these politicians make us slaves to them. Think about it. And I've said it before, and I'm being serious. I can be eating a bologna sandwich, and I can want to hold it up to my ear. I don't get in trouble for that. I can unwrap that bologna sandwich. I can probably put mustard on it in the car, and I've seen people eat and put makeup on. But I can stick it up to my ear. And I have occasionally. I like bologna in my ear. But I can't get a ticket for that. But put a phone up to your ear, and you're going to get cited. And I say to that, and I say to the people that got tickets for speeding, don't blame the police officers. Those police officers would rather be out protecting us and getting the bad guys and putting them in jail. But the politicians say, hey, we need the money. We put our girlfriends, our boyfriends, our aunts, our uncles to work. We need the money. So let's have all these laws. And they're not taxes, people. That's what the politicians will tell you. They're fines. You did something wrong, so you got to get fined. That's bull crap. It's only wrong because you rotten, no-count, good-for-nothing, low-life politicians made it a law that it's wrong. 20 years ago, with this gambling situation, I was on the perimeter of that. I made a couple mistakes. I got in trouble. But 20 years ago, gambling was going to be in these poker machines. They were going to be the devastation of this country, of this state. Now, all of a sudden, gambling and these poker machines are the savior for all these small businesses. It was illegal back in the day. It was bad. It was wrong. But now, all of a sudden, the politicians need the tax dollars. So now it's right. So that's why I say politicians make us criminals, people. Politicians make these laws to make us criminals. I've said before, being a homicide detective in East St. Louis, I put people in jail, worked a little vice. I put people in jail for smoking marijuana, having marijuana. A year or two, I can remember 2 years a guy got. I feel bad about that now. But that's what the politicians told us to do. They said, God didn't come down and say this. It's not an 11th commandment. Thou shalt not smoke marijuana. The politicians. It's illegal. It's nasty. It'll destroy this country. Drugs, marijuana. So we put people in jail. Not because we wanted to, because that was our job. That's what the politicians told us to do. They enacted these laws. Now all of a sudden, marijuana's not so bad. And I don't want my record expunged because I really don't give a damn. It's not affecting my life. But these poor people that went to jail for marijuana possession back in the day, they ought to have their whole record expunged. It's not right. These politicians going to make it. You know, I'm glad they don't say smoking cigarettes is a felony. They could pass something like that. Hell, everybody smoking a cigarette would be a felon. But let's don't let these politicians get into our heads, get into our lives. I promise you, if I go to Springfield, you're going to see one crazy, ignorant son of a bitch because they've made me crazy and ignorant. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to fight against these laws that hurt us, the taxpayers, the citizens, their bosses. I'm not going to vote party lines. I'm not, oh, you got to vote this way because we're trying to get this passed. No, if it's not good for my people, it's not good for the state of Illinois, they can both sides, Democrat and Republican, can kiss my ass. You've heard me before. I want to talk about the NAACP dinner. They had their dinner Sunday night. They said they had 2 or 3 fights there. Now, Stanley Franklin, why is there fights at the NAACP dinner? I hear that Kern was booed at the NAACP dinner. Was that a fact, Stanley Franklin? See, I think the proud black people have finally found you ignorant bastards out. And when I say you ignorant bastards, I don't just mean you black ignorant bastards. I mean you white ignorant bastards. The Kerns, the Spragues, the Stanley Franklins. I hear that some people give Kern a bunch of crap at the NAACP dinner. They call him a racist. I hear the one guy said, hey, remember back a few years back? And I've talked about it. It was on federal tape about the blacks calling Kern a racist. And he's not only a racist against the blacks, so don't feel like you're being discriminated against the black community. He's a racist against the whites. The only people he respects are the rich and the famous. He doesn't give a damn about the white people in St. Clair County probably not as much as he don't give a damn about the black people. I go down to East St. Louis every day, Washington Park, Centerville, Allerton, Cahokia. Never see him down there. He never drives down by himself. See how the people are doing below the hill. But now all of a sudden he's got his billboards up. They're kissing ass, people. I'll tell you what, they better get a ton of chapstick. Because these politicians are kissing everybody's ass to get a vote. It's really pathetic, people. They're graveling for votes. They've never been hit this hard. We've cost them a fortune, over $1.5 million. We've cost them all the exposure, the negative exposure. I've personally embarrassed these rotten bastards. And it doesn't take much to embarrass a no-good, embarrassing son of a bitch. But the NAACP dinner, they say they booed Kern. See, they know just because Kern gives a couple $1,000. You know, it's like, hey, here's a couple $1,000. Now I'm going to come in and disrespect your family. Any decent person, black or white, wouldn't take that crap. But see, that's the way the Kerns are. Mark Sweet Cakes Kern and his hairy ass old lady, the Sasquatch. She's been milling around. I see that hair. I see that hair floating off right around the courthouse a lot of days. And somebody said, don't mess with somebody's family, the wife. She got into this political fight years back when she illegally had me arrested, and she's going to stay in the fight. But they booed him at the NAACP dinner, people, because they know what hypocritical son of a bitches they are. Tell me they got walking down the side afterwards, and some proud black people jumped their white asses. Unbelievable. I think people have finally found out. I think 2016 November will be the perfect storm. But we need everybody. We need everybody to come out and vote. Everybody that's apathetic. That's what they want, people. That's what the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee, the St. Clair County Democratic Culture of Corruption, that's what they want. They want you to stay at home. You play right into their hands when you stay at home, people. Because their little organizational group will come out and vote, and they'll win like they've won for the last 40 years. And don't forget everything they've promised you for the last 40 years, especially the black community in East St. Louis. What have you gotten? Well, I got to say, what is Freeburg? What is Millstadt? What is Smithton? What is Shiloh? What is Lebanon? What is Mascoutah? The towns in my district, you've got nothing. No representation. You never see your state representative. You may not want to elect me because you'll see me all the time because I'll be out there working for you good people. Don't have to have the endorsement of the Democrats. Don't have to have the endorsement of the Republicans. But the NAACP dinner, they said, was very unsuccessful. And I had a black man yesterday tell me he went. Wasn't much to it. And he says, Bob, I wonder where all that money goes. He said they give 1 or 2 scholarships amounting to a couple $1,000. But where does all that corporate sponsorship, where does all that money go? Well, I believe it goes in the NAACP East St. Louis coffers. I don't know what they do with it. You know, maybe there should be a audit of the NAACP dinner, because I know they don't give much money. Hell, I donate more money. I called the NAACP last Christmas when I donated $25,000. I asked if they would match that. I never got a call back. See, people, you don't understand the underbelly of this political setting in St. Clair County. It's nasty. I tell you what, you hear Donald Trump talk. The actions of the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption are nastier, are worse than anything Trump could say or probably do. Until I came on the air, you guys didn't understand. You didn't know what was going on. We've exposed these son of a bitches the last 5 or 6 years. And it's not going to get any better until I've exposed them. I've done my job, people. Now you have to do your job. You have to get out and vote. Everybody needs to come out and vote and get rid of these bastards. 40 years, people, and they've done nothing. I don't want to bring up the airport or losing the NGA or all the bad developments, the people moving out of St. Clair County, the people moving out of the state of Illinois, and we'll get to that momentarily. You understand. You're living it day in and day out. I'm just bringing it to the forefront. Isn't it time for a change? Now, I'm not going to say if I'm for Trump or for Hillary, because I'm actually an independent. But I would say, why do the Republicans, they're coming out of the woodwork now, the establishment, to go against Trump? Now, if they're true Republicans, conservative Republicans, I think they ought to stay with Trump other than go over with the liberal Hillary Rotten Clinton. And I don't know if I really like either one of them. But how hypocritical are all of them? Hillary talks about Trump saying whatever, and I like Trump. Trump says, well, I talked about it. Your husband did it at the White House. And then all the crap Trump did. I mean, again, there's enough shame in that game to go around for both of them. It's really amazing when you're picking the lesser of the two evils. Well, you'll be doing that in my race, because I think I'm the lesser of the two evils. Not perfect. But when you have to do that at the presidential level, that's when our country's really, really getting screwed up. Stanley Franklin, if you've got anything to defend yourself, give me a call. 1-888-394-1430 on the east side, 394-1190 in the hair. I'll tell you, Stanley, you're the president of the NAACP, but you're not a proud black man. You're not a proud black man representing the proud people of East St. Louis, a proud black community. You're a plantation Negro stepping and fetching for the boys in Belleville. And if you don't like it, Stanley, you can come out and pick at the radio station. Hell, I'll help you pick it. See, I'm for what's right. I'm not politically correct. I'm not politically incorrect. I'm politically insane, and I'm going to be that way. I'm going to stay that way. If I win this election or lose this election, you think that's going to stop me? Hell, if I win, I'll be broadcasting from the State House. These guys aren't going to stop me. They've tried time and time again, and they try to stop you people. And I know it's hard. They're going to knock us down. They're going to knock us down, but we got to get up, brush ourselves off, and get back in the fight. I've done it for years and years. You people are good people. You can do it too. Black, white, Democrats, Republicans, men and women. Now, you know Stanley Franklin's not going to call. He has nothing to defend. The NAACP dinner is nothing more than a shill for the Democratic Party in St. Clair County. Everybody knows that. It's a shill for the Democratic Party in St. Clair County. As long as Stanley Franklin gets money, he doesn't give a damn. He's going to put Aaron Kern up there just because she gave money. Everybody knows Mark Kern's background. Money doesn't solve everything, Stanley Franklin. And especially it doesn't solve most of the problems in East St. Louis. Most of the problems will be solved in East St. Louis when we all unite. When we let them quit separating and dividing us. At that point, people, that's when we'll be able to progress. That's when we'll be able to take East St. Louis and develop East St. Louis. I'm going to fight to develop East St. Louis. And not just for the good people of East St. Louis, for the people of St. Clair County. I want to see everybody be independent. I don't want to have to take care of anybody, black, white, men or women, Democrats or Republicans. Let's give everybody the opportunity to be successful. And when that happens, we all become more successful. It's the domino effect. We all know that. I read about Illinois has the worst personal income in the Midwest. It's second worst in the United States, our great state of Illinois. That's because of these rotten bastards in Springfield, both Democrats and Republicans. I hope to go up there and shake all these son of a bitches up, because it's going to be funny when I get there. It's pathetic now. I'm going to raise it up a level from pathetic to funny. Hey, and they tell me Garrett Harner's not too happy with me yesterday. Hey, you fat ass, no count, good for nothing, corn shucking, chicken fed, eating, greasy fried chicken bastard. Garrett Harner. What a greedy son of a bitch he is. He's mad because I exposed him for all the money he's making. Him and Sprague, people make over $2 million apiece. They're the head of the Democratic Party. Never run for office. Hell no. They're behind the scenes making all the money. They put the gladiators out there, black and white. And behind the scenes, they rake in all the money, all the taxpayers' money. I would bet between Garrett Harner and Sprague in their careers, 2, 3, I bet you they've made $30, $40 million, people, and I'm not exaggerating, $30, $40 million off the backs of the hardworking taxpayers of St. Clair County. And we're going to stand for that? And these are the leaders of the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption. So Garrett Harner, you got a problem? Give me a call. Defend yourself, Garrett Harner. You're an attorney. You know, get that chicken bone out of your teeth, you idiot, and give me a call. Of course, his hands are probably so greasy he can't get to a phone. Garrett Harner, a no-count, good-for-nothing, hypocritical son of a bitch. Garrett Harner. $2 million a year this gentleman makes, and I use that term loosely. I want to apologize to the gentleman. At the backs of the taxpayers. He gets $400,000 or $500,000 from the proud black community in East St. Louis. Why don't you hell? There's people, if you give them $500,000, they'd move back to East St. Louis. You're not going to move back to East St. Louis, Garrett Harner. You don't hang in East St. Louis. You don't spend any money in East St. Louis. But Alonzo Greenwood, he pays you well. And then you come up here and you fight for his daughter, LaToya, running against me. You put out a hit piece, a racial hit piece, because the hit piece was down in East St. Louis, and it had my white picture on it. But you didn't send a picture of her in the outer county, my outer district, showing she's a black lady. See, I wouldn't have done that. But you guys are so desperate. And then I see the East St. Louis superintendent, who's hired by LaToya Greenwood's daddy, Lonzo Greenwood, made $238,000 last year, people. You people are starving down in East St. Louis. And it'd be different if School District 189 was at the top of the rung, was one of the best schools in the state of Illinois. Then you pay your school superintendent $238,000. But see, people, Lonzo Greenwood has his daughter, LaToya, running against me. And again, you know, if she gets elected, she'll have 3 jobs paid for by taxpayers. The job with the school district, $100,000 a year. A job as a city councilwoman making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. And then a state representative. And of course, Lisa Madigan, the Democratic Attorney General, says she can keep all those jobs. You've heard me. I'm not going to take a penny. But why did they give this ignorant, stupid son of a bitch Culver, Arthur Culver, and he's not even from East St. Louis? You good people in East St. Louis ought to be livid. There's not somebody down there that could be the superintendent. Bill Mason was the superintendent. He was from the East St. Louis. There's a lot of good qualified people. Lonzo Greenwood, you're going to ask for their votes. You're going to beg for their votes for your daughter in the democratic culture of corruption. Why? Why don't you, in turn, respect the people of East St. Louis, you greedy son of a bitch? The greedy Greenwoods is what we're calling them. And the people of East St. Louis know that. And the people of St. Clair County and all these counties. You guys live in Madison, Washington, Clinton, you live over in Jefferson, St. Louis County, St. Charles County. That crap goes on all the time. And then I want to get into the jail. You can't believe what's going on at the St. Clair County Jail, and it's going to tell you how desperate these son of a bitches are. I want to thank Bill Hanner for his information as always. Got a letter here from Joe Laquette. Says, Mr. Romanik, you see that Colin Kaepernick is a starting quarterback this weekend for the 49ers. The 49ers are in Buffalo. You have anything to say to the fans of Buffalo? Yeah, I would tell all the fans of Buffalo, Joe. If this greasy, sleazy son of a bitch kneels during the national anthem, after the national anthem was over, every true, proud American who loves this great country should walk out of the stadium and never come back. And keep this ignorant, no good son of a bitch. You know, if he's got to be an asswipe, make him stay in the locker room till after the national anthem. See, he works for the San Francisco 49ers. He's got to do what they say when he's got that uniform on. And see, that pisses me off because, oh, no, they can say and do what they want. No, and I know it's a black deal with these Black Lives Matter, and black lives do matter. All lives matter. White lives matter. Hispanic lives. My political enemies' lives matter. So let's take that out of the equation. This is just one no-count, good-for-nothing, ass-white bastard. Colin, Colin. They said Colin. It should be Colin because he's an ass-wipe, if you know what I mean. But, I didn't want to go there. We got a caller. Let's take a caller before we take the break. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hey, Bob. This is Norm Bean from St. Louis.
Yes, sir.
Want to let you know I listen to you most every day. I really appreciate you. You talk like it is. And if I lived in Illinois, you'd have my vote.
Well,
buddy.
thank you, sir. What's in your world? What's going on in your world today?
In my world, I was just curious. I heard you talking earlier about you're not sure between Trump and Hillary, but Trump's wanting to get taxes down around 15%. At least that's what he's saying. He's wanting to get rid of illegals. He's not necessarily against Muslims. He's just against ISIS and Muslims that try to kill us and cut our heads off. And I'm for that, too. I don't want my head cut off. Yeah. They try to cut my head off, I'll cut their heads off. But that said, I was just curious why, you're still undecided.
Well, hey, Norm, thanks a lot. And you know what? I don't know if I'm really undecided. Well, yes, I am, because it pains me. I'm a candidate for state representative, and I'm a bad candidate. I'm by far not the best. They couldn't get anybody else to run, and I wasn't going to let these asswipe, no-count, good-for-nothing Democrats run unopposed. Now, my opponent is the first worst candidate, and I'm second. But you've heard me say it, Norm, at the national level, it's a shame when we're not voting for a great candidate. We're voting for the lesser of two evils, both Democrat and Republicans, and they all get pissed off at me. But I agree. I have to say I agree with more of the philosophies of Trump than I do of Hillary Clinton. It's just a matter of when I walk in there election day, who I think's going to be the best, not just for me, but who's going to be the best for this country. And I'm still undecided, and the only people that really are undecided are the Democrats and the Republicans. But the true Americans, I think they're still undecided. And if they're not, they have every right to vote for whoever they want. And I say, Norm, I hope they go out in St. Clair County and vote for us. But even if they don't, I just hope the people that have been apathetic, that have been held down, I just hope they come out and vote, because that's a right we have that people have died to give us, and I don't want to see it go to waste. Norm, thank you very much for the call from St. Louis. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about them registering inmates at the jail who are not eligible to vote. That shows you how deep this corruption goes in St. Clair County. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ, 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ, 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting at its finest. America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. I want to thank all the people that called and agreed with me. Actually, more so not than not, I bet you it was 30-1 about Bost and Barra Civic, how hypocritical both those son of a bitches are. You know, they want everybody to disavow this, disavow that. You know, do as people do, not as you tell people to do, all you politicians. You know, they always want you to do different than they do because, see, they're up on that pedestal. They are up on that pedestal because we put them up there. And if we put them up there, people, we can knock them down. And before I talk about this egregious crap going on at the St. Clair County Jail, and I thought Rick Watson, the sheriff, I don't want to throw him under the bus until I find out what's going on, but there's something going on. But before I do that, I just want to let Garrett Harner know. Garrett Harner, the greasy-fingered, fried chicken-eating, cornbread slopping, sheep-dating, slimy, ass-kissing, tax money-grabbing, ignorant, no-count, good-for-nothing son of a bitch, Garrett Harner. I'm awarding you the Insane Broadcasting No-Count Asswipe Jerk-Off Award of the Month. Because you are the jerk-off of the month. So you chicken-eating, cornbread slopping son of a bitch, come up and get your award if you're not too busy grabbing the money from all these tax bodies. People, he works for St. Clair County. He does work that the St. Clair County State's Attorney should do. And speaking of that, I've got attorney friends. A couple of them died. They used to brag. They work one day a month, people. They go in and write one letter, and they get full insurance for them and their families. That's $300, $400, $500 a month, people. And there's more than one. That's been going on forever. You people understand the underbelly of this corruption in St. Clair County. They tell me, you know, the election's coming up. There's 100, and Foxman, call 277-6600 and get the election department for St. Clair County. Because we want to see if we can get them on ask if they'll come on the air and ask why they're letting this happen. And Holbrook, Mr. Haney Holbrook. And people ask me about this Derek Wallace. Derek Wallace has made some salacious accusations about Mr. Holbrook. And they said, how do we get a hold of Derek Wallace? I say, hell, I don't know. Hell, if I want to get a hold of somebody, I have my secretary Google them on the internet. And this guy's name's Derek Wallace. And I guess if you want to get a hold of him, I don't know. You can maybe Google him on the internet. But Derek Wallace, I want you to give me a call back because I hear that you're ready to do some lawsuiting. And Tom Holbrook is crapping in his drawers. I don't know if you can prove the salacious allegations, but if you can, I would ask Sprague and Kern, you talk me. Hey, if what they're saying is about Holbrook is right, they might as well nominate me to be the Pope because I'm a good guy. But see, you bastards want to hang with your bad guys, but that's okay because they're your bad guys. You can't be hypocrites, son of a bitch. You can't be hypocrites. So anyway, here's what's going on at the St. Clair County Jail. And these Democrats, this culture of corruption, they're so desperate to win this election, and they're probably going to win because they're probably going to steal it from us. We're going to demand it's a federal election. We're going to demand that we get a fair election. Well, I don't know. They don't know what fair elections are in St. Clair County. They haven't had them in 40, 50 years. But listen to me, people. The state election law, and we're having it researched even more. So we'll allege this at this point because I don't want to give you information that's not totally correct. But the Illinois state election law says if incarcerated, being in jail, not convicted, just being incarcerated, you are ineligible to cast a vote. That's what the state election law says. Now, here's what's going on in St. Clair County, and we just found this out. They were trying to hide it, but we just found this out. And I guarantee you, Holbrook won't call you. Holbrook, we pay. Hey, you no good, Mr. Haney, son of a bitch. I got a deal for you, Tom Holbrook. I'm demanding that you talk to me. I pay your salary, you ignorant bastard. But you know what? I tried to call the state's attorney. State's attorney says, well, I can't tell the county clerk what to do. We can tell him and the rest of these ass-white bastards up at the courthouse, people, we can tell them what to do election day. We can tell them to get their asses out of office, and let's get people that are going to work for us. But anyway, there is 110, listen to me, people, 110 absentee ballots going to the St. Clair County Jail. Can you believe that? Now, I demand the state and the feds come down and investigate this. Now, you think these guys in jail, you think they're worried about voting election day when they're in there for allegedly raping and robbing and killing people, selling dope? Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to prepare for my trial for killing 3 people. But don't forget, get me an absentee ballot because I got to vote. How nasty is that? How nasty is that? These no good son of a bitches, and there's never an answer. Never an answer. Foxman, did you call the St. Clair County clerk, Mr. Haney, that no-count, good-for-nothing, rotten son of a bitch? Did you give him a call?
Yes, sir, Mr. Grimm, I did, and they put me on hold. When I told them who we were and what we wanted, they put me on hold and said, please hold. That never came back.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, people, do you understand? And don't think it's just Bob Romanik. They're not going to be transparent to anybody. But we're going to get to the bottom of this. 100 people, 110 absentee ballots are going to the St. Clair County Jail. How the hell can that be when the state election law says if incarcerated, not convicted, but incarcerated, you're ineligible to cast a vote? Don't you think those prisoners would have more on their minds? Somebody is orchestrating that. They're so desperate. Somebody is orchestrating getting the absentee ballots to the jail. And I hope it's not Sheriff Watson. I think he's done an admirable job. But we're going to call his office too. How the hell can that happen? 110. And the people that called us said, don't say anything, Bob. But watch him because the early votes are coming in and they're already trying to play games at the St. Clair County Courthouse, the county clerk's office. Holbrook, are you trying to play games? I hope it's not the same kind of games that Derek Wallace is alleging you were playing back in the day. I hope it's not the same. It would be just as egregious, just as salacious. But that's our votes, Tom Holbrook. You know who appointed Tom Holbrook, the county clerk, after he worked for the Department of Natural Resources, was the director, and after 22 years, I guess, as a state representative. Bob Sprague put him in that position. You think we the citizens of St. Clair County have anything coming? You think we got a fair election coming when Sprague puts one of his ass boys, Mr. Haney Holbrook, in that position? And there again, Holbrook retired from the state. His wife retired from the state. He got more money put on his pension because he was the director of natural resources for a year. When's enough? Now this guy's making $80,000, $90,000 a year and will have another pension if he lasts 2 terms. And we're going to come after that no good son of a bitch in 2 years. But think about it, people. How in the hell can there be 110 absentee ballots coming out of the St. Clair County Jail when the state election board says they're ineligible to vote? Now, I would argue, even if the state election board comes back because Lisa Madigan, who's a Democrat, may rule differently and say it's okay, how the hell do you think 110 prisoners asked for absentee ballots at the St. Clair County Jail? I don't think so, people, and neither do you. They can't get me or you to believe that crap. But that's what they do, people. That's what they do in St. Clair County. We all ought to stand up and say enough's enough. 40, 50 years of corruption in St. Clair County, and they say Bob Romanik's a bad guy? How the hell can I be bad? I'm not going to take a salary. I'm going to go up there and expose those bastards, both Democrats and Republicans, like I do on the radio. I may not be a perfect guy, but I'm not a bad guy. A bad guy is one that violates the law day in and day out, and not only violates the law, doesn't pay like I did, doesn't pay for violating the law. It's do as I say, not as I do. They never get arrested. They never arrest their own. They'll arrest you, they'll arrest me, they'll arrest our families for anything. And they'll harass us, but they won't arrest their guys. It's amazing, people. I just hope you understand. I hope you understand that it's not right. It's not right that we keep letting this crap go on in St. Clair County, this corruption. And they don't hide it. They slap us in the face and they say, we don't give a damn. And they don't give a damn, people. But they're still in office because we the people, apparently don't give a damn. We don't give a damn enough to throw their asses out of office. But please, people, on Election Day, get out and cast your vote. Your vote will count. Don't sit at home. They want you to sit at home. If everybody that's been screwed by the politicians in St. Clair County, if everybody wants a better election, all you have to do is come out and vote. And then the next election will be better. The next election will be better. Now, we're going to research this, but the state election law, let's take a quick break. Let's just go ahead and take no more breaks? Okay. But we want to check the election law to see if it's correct. Now, there may be some kind of loophole, but if there is, people, even if there is a loophole in this law, do you honestly think that these guys in jail for murder, for selling dope, going to get 100 years? These guys that have raped people, home invasions, robberies, do you honestly think that they give a damn about the election? Do you think that they went and told the sheriff or told the authorities at the St. Clair County Jail, hey, get us an absentee ballot? That's an orchestrated move that is probably illegal on its face. Who's going in there? Who's letting a politician go in there and getting these guys absentee ballots? I guarantee you they wouldn't let us go in there. And I would bet you if there's 110 absentee ballots, all 110 will be a Democratic vote. I would bet you $1,000 to a dime. And you people know that. And I got to say, even the good Democrats, they don't like what's going on in St. Clair County because Democrats are decent people, as are the Republicans. It's just these Democratic and Republican organizations, the political organizations, they're the ones that do these egregious things. They're the ones that do these illegal things because it keeps them in jobs. It keeps their families in jobs and their friends. Doesn't do anything for us. Doesn't do anything for we the people, the vast, vast majority. So think about it. St. Clair County Jail. 110 upstanding citizens that are in jail for allegedly raping, robbing, killing, home invasions, aggravated assaults. They're concerned about this election, and they all requested an absentee ballot. Now, I would believe there's a Santa Claus, a real Santa Claus, before I would believe this crap. But they want you to believe it. They want you to think it. They want you to think, no, they don't. I apologize. They don't want you to think. That's the problem. But we're going to research this. We'll find out for sure tomorrow. But if there is a loophole, I'm sure they found it. I'm sure the county has found it. But again, even if they do find that loophole, do you honestly, as an intelligent person, black, white, men, women, Democrats or Republicans, do you think there was 110 prisoners that requested an absentee ballot? Or do you think that somebody come in there and infiltrated and went around those cells and said, hey, we want you to vote Democrat. We need you to get an absentee ballot. And maybe, just maybe, we'll give you some time off. Maybe we'll let you go to another commissary. Maybe we'll give you some special treatment. Now, people, do you understand what I'm telling you? Do you see the corruption? Now it's infiltrated the St. Clair County Jail. And they're manipulating the prisoners. That's how desperate these no-count, low-life son of a bitches of St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption is. And I don't think the good Democrats appreciate it. Good Democrats, they're law-abiding. So are the Republicans, the rank-and-file Democrats and Republicans. They don't appreciate this crap. Well, we'll find out today. We'll let you know tomorrow, but just think about it, people. Once again, 110 absentee ballots, because there's 110 people in there for murder, rape, robbery, dope, selling dope, home invasions. But they want to get an absentee ballot because they're upstanding citizens, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. Come on back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll investigate this situation and we'll continue to expose these no-count, low-life, good-for-nothing, jerk-off, rotten bastard son of a bitches that we call perverted politicians. We're not going to let this go, people. We are, I think, together we are going to make a difference November the 8th, 2016. Democrats, Republicans, men, women, black and white. You notice I always put us all together. Do not let them, the enemy, the political enemy, do not let them destroy and divide us, conquer us, because together we can fight these no good son of a bitches. And by the way, Garrett Harner, you chicken-eating, cornbread slopping, sheep-dating, slimy ass-kissing son of a bitch, come and get your insane broadcasting, no-count, asswipe, jerk-off of the month award. It'll be waiting for you at the radio station. Garrett Harner goes out to you. I'll tell you what a no-good, no-count, rotten bastard he is. So Garrett Harner, come get your reward. And people, let's continue to unite until Election Day. Let's fight. Let's expose these son of a bitches. Because together, people, we can make a difference. Don't let them tell you any different. We can make a difference united, not divided, united. So let's continue to expose, drag these son of a bitches over the political coals of hell. And when it's all said and done, November the 8th, coming soon, the perfect storm, we can make a difference. Let's vote these son of a bitches out of office. Let's destroy them. Destroy them, you hear me? Politically, of course. Right here on the dark side.